A lot of the talent team has actually given this a 50-50, so we'll see how it pans out. Let's go ahead and jump into Champ Select. It's going to be Hong Kong Attitude on your blue side, Resurgence on the red. It's going to be a LeBlanc ban immediately against Raven.
This was the winning pick coming from Raven against that Liab match. So I feel like HKA is comfy giving Shinsekai that set. Basically just keep removing comfort picks away from Raven. And that is going to be the LeBlanc. Meanwhile, that's going to be Senna taken out, even Olaf. This is actually quite the these are similar bans at the first match with Machi when Resurgence had to face them earlier.
I'm interested, though, for Resurgence. All right, going to ban out the Misfortune. So we're seeing a couple of the 80 carries taken off the table. What does Hong Kong Attitude wish to lock in? They're just going to go ahead straight for the set.
Set is open. Might as well take it. We haven't been seeing Ornn. Oh, but okay. So if they lock this in, probably not. But
Kaisa
what are your
walking.
choices? Yeah, Kaisa didn't have the best performance in the PCS. I think she's still sitting at 0% win rate. Yeah, it's still 0. It picked 4 times. So therefore, I think it's also due to the fact that, okay, you have Killer Instinct, you can use it aggressively, but at the same time, most of the comps that, you know, threaten the position of the Kaisa is a pick such as Renekton, so might as well take that out of the equation. And
this is actually the opposite matchup of what Shinsekai ended up playing earlier on in the day, was the set versus Renekton. Now, other way around, we'll see how he's able to perform. Still, though, even with that Olaf ban for Hong Kong Attitude, maybe like try and get one of your jungle lock-ins here, and it looks like that's going to be the case, as the Elise was left open through the bans, and it's going to get locked in.
Now the question is whether or not Epic has played Rek'Sai before, because this will really enable a heavy dive towards the focus on the top side of the map. Because one thing I noticed in the PCS, a lot of them would just draft in 1v1 duelists in the top side of the map, early game duelists, and then therefore would shift priority, or rather would shift any sort of threat towards that top side, therefore leaving bot lane a little bit more safer. This would be the plan in mind.
Oh, do we get to see ourselves a Pantheon coming out from Resurgence? Now that could go into the mid lane for Raven, likely will. We have seen the Pantheon pick come up every once in a while. There was also a little bit of a stretch there where it was banned out, mainly against Liab, as Rex was the last player to actually play it. I believe Nesty also played it for J-Team once in the PCS, so a little bit of a change up here from what Raven is usually used to playing.
Interesting that they picked that out first, not the jungler. So HKA will probably try to restrict that at this time around. So Sejuani would actually be a good choice. Rek'Sai would also be a scary pick for Epic, unless he doesn't really play that. We haven't really seen that yet. It always has been either, you know, the first time Lee Sin and Sejuani. Meanwhile, 80 carry still continuing to be deleted by RSG. So HKA either forced on either an Ezreal at this point.
Yeah, Ezreal's kind of the one thing left open as far as the options go. Does HKA maybe ban out the Ezreal and we just get some just different carries? Come on, show me like
Vayne.
Show me the Vayne. All right, the Echo. All right, so they're really trying to lock down where this Pantheon's going, I guess, and really want to see if it's going to go toward Raven.
Wait, yeah. Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay.
We get ourselves Epic's Taliyah. We've only seen Taliyah once in the PCS. Didn't really impress us, unfortunately. I'm trying to think who ended up playing.
I think it was Hana.
Yeah, that was Hana that ended up playing it. So for Epic, this is a bit of a change. A lot of global pressure, though, already being shown here for Resurgence. Or semi-global pressure. You have the Grand Starfall as well as the Weaver's Wall. For the side of HKA, though, they might go ahead and get some global for themselves with the Gangplank.
Is this another support set? It could be.
Don't show me.
It will be.
You think?
Oh, wait. Yeah, it's just a hover.
That is, yeah. That's a...
But...
Mid-set.
Mid-set, okay.
That's the idea, I believe.
Mid-set.
Unless we're saying like a mid-Gangplank.
Syndra, yeah, bottom.
Because Jimnin, I don't think, has ever played Nautilus. But that does mean for Resurgence, if they really wanted to, you just go ahead and pick the Morgana, and the Nautilus doesn't really get to have much of an impact with the single target.
What?
As,
Okay,
thank you.
Okay. All right.
I was a little concerned. We're going to see, like, Talia support, possibly. I remember that for, like, a couple weeks. I think it was 2 years ago, or that was a thing. But there you go. We want to see where this is going to go. Yeah, so it looks like it's a set mid.
Pantheon jungle, too, would be a possibility. You're right. Okay. So, if this is going to be Talia jungle, let's just wait a little bit where this ends up. So, it is going to be a
because with the
Pantheon
Syndra, that
jungle.
means we're going to have a mage bot lane for him. That's the first we're getting to see for him. And I think this is the first mage bot lane we've actually had when
In
it
a
comes to the
PCS.
PCS.
Exactly. I am so excited because coming into this match, it was either playing standard or not at all. And the thing is, we saw this Talia and Pantheon before on Nesty and Hana, but they've swapped roles.
Yeah, so now it is going to be Epic on the Pantheon after all that switching back and forth, and Raven on his Talia in mid lane. Has a little bit of the range matchup, at least in his favor, against the set. I'm interested to see whether or not he's able to get much advantages here, but it's really relying on Epic on this Pantheon. Right, we hit that level 6, try and make stuff happen along the rest of the map, because I betcha Hollow and the Elise is going to be doing the same. Either way, we're going to instead. It is the battle of the bottom of the table. Hong Kong Attitude taking on Resurgence.
What an explosive draft coming from both of these sides. And I thought we were going to be playing Standard League of Legends tonight. But I guess in order to defeat each other, gotta surprise them a little bit, and that is gonna be the plan in mind.
I'm about to say, get the popcorn out.
Uh-huh.
This should be an entertaining one, at least. I'm hoping, at least. I want to see Resurgence not just fizzle out like we've seen time and time again, especially earlier on today. They had a good kind of early game where it looked decently like it was going in favor of Resurgence. But we didn't see anything else. This time you're on Pantheon Epic. So I better see you try and snowball some leads. As Shinsekai is just waddling back to lane. Did he get... Okay, he's just a little late.
I've seen this before. In Form, I think former LSD teams in general like to pick out, the triple teleports. But this is going to be a similar arrangement, I suppose, in the form of the globals coming from Raven and Epic. And I assume it will be either funneled towards Shinsekai, because we've seen so many games take off. It's going to be an early ward spotting out Hollow in the jungle so they know where it's going to stand, where the rotations is going to start for that jungle for HKA.
Yeah, we want to keep track, especially here. Here on the side of Resurgence, you don't want that Talia getting caught out early. As Hollow, though, sees that he's on a ward, so he'll have information that he can maybe try and juke around and maybe try and go a weird path. Epic is going to start on the bot side of the map, and there is vision near his Raptors if he decides to start up that.
And I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of action in Comm level 6, most especially, but, Pantheon's level 3 is actually pretty decent as well. But at that point, especially if you time it with Raven, so Jimian right now has to play a little bit safe, especially he doesn't have the range advantage. The level 3 gank of Epic and Raven could be explosive. It could be an insta-death, especially at this point of the match. Therefore, gotta be careful. So this is the approach to this laning phase for HKA.
Epic was thinking, though, maybe going toward the top lane. Was a little uncertain, though. His 3Z's already been able to push that in pretty heavily on the Shinsekai. Hollow's going to go back down toward his Krugs. And look at that. Raven maybe even looking for a roam. Still a little unsure here as Jimian's going to catch him out on the ward as he heads back into the lane.
Yeah, Epic was a little bit hesitant there because Shinsekai still wasn't level 3 at the time. So I guess the additional red buff and waiting for Shinsekai to be level 3 would have been perfect. And now we see that Resurgence has managed to scout out a little bit where Hollow is.
Well, when you pick a gangplank, usually you're going to be the target of a lot of aggression when it comes to the squads, as we see even Raven and Epic still posturing up the map. But luckily, 4-3Z, he gets himself back underneath tower. Epic's going to show himself in mid. is caught out. Meanwhile, we have a little bit of a tussle. Wing able to seal away the scuttle. So a nice little victory there for HK's bot lane to start things off.
Mission accomplished. Meanwhile, that ward once more near the Raptor camp will spot out the jungler. This could be a dive.
Let's see. Epic. Meanwhile, with the rest of the squad, it's into the double stun. It's into the knockup. 3Z able to live just a little longer. No, it's not going to happen. And first blood going on over to Resurgence here as Jimyan was looking for a possible counterplay, but no, it's not going to happen. And first blood to Resurgence once again.
This is the third time around. Meanwhile, Holo might try something funny here.
Let's see. It's going to walk around. I think they want to go for a dive here. They want to try and answer for something in the top for the bot lane. As 3Z was taken down. Mexi pretty low on mana. Doesn't have a whole lot. That's going to be the stun going immediately on to the Morgana. Scatter of the Week is there, but not going to happen as HK are not able to go for the dive.
Yeah, that's the difference of, or kind of the downside of having a mage bot lane is that you easily run out of resources. But let's take a look at this again. This is an almost clean dive. I guess I was just a little bit worried that I think Shinsekai, or actually it was Epic that was tanking the tower. Yeah, that's actually pretty clean. Raven decides to change paths to go back to lane as, you know, Jimyan was missing there.
So there we go. Resurgence find themselves first blood once again. Ever since this team has kind of shifted its focus and been able to actually wake up in the early game, they're always able to find themselves first blood. The question has been, where are they going to transition this advantage? Is Raven going to be able to roam? He's got himself a Talia pick this time around. Might have to be careful as Wing is waiting nearby in mid lane. Knockup is not going to land. Wing's just going to show himself just to apply a little bit of pressure here.
Showing, matching the back timers of, you know, RSG, Mexi, and Delulu. Raven's going to get followed, actually, as they move towards this side of the map.
Not going to have anything happen, though, because, again, ward's down, so everyone's aware where everybody is. As Wing was looking for a roam, can't do a whole lot there. You even see Eminem sticking all the way back by his tower on the mini-map. He's like, Wing, I need you back here. I am a Syndra. This is a rough lane if I'm left alone.
Level 6 now for Raven. So potentially either top side play. Epic lurking around here. There is a ward over that brush in the river. Still need that level 6 to surpass all of that control.
Oh, Raven gonna go for a little bit of a trade here. He got brought back with a showstopper. Still not afraid though, as Jimyan ended up ulting him. Just not close enough to his tower and didn't want to wait for Hollow, it seems. At least was nearby, but wanted to try and go for the play immediately.
Right now, because of, again, Raven's advantage in the wave, an all-in coming from Jimyan and Hollow would potentially ruin Raven's lane. But I suppose Raven still has flash and heal, so that's what's okay.
Look at this, Epic looking for a play. He's going to get some vision down. Raven also nearby. Oh, does Epic not realize? Oh, that's going to be the cocoon. There's the Weaver's Wall also over. Raven now realizing he's got to go and help his teammate. Flashes over the wall for the seismic shove. It's not going to happen, though, as he ends up rappelling to safety. Now 3Z in a little bit of trouble. Nice cannon, though. Another barrel. And there he's also got the cannon barrage not available. Already used it. 3Z, though, is going to be able to pick up the kill on Raven as HKA find themselves on the board with another kill going in favor of 3Z.
Whoa, that's a double kill. Blankpank. Oh, anyway, gangplank on 3Z. And with that said, we've seen this before from RSG. They get a little bit excited after getting 1 or 2 kills on their side. And it all comes down to execution. The idea is there. But Raven, using the flash earlier on, removes any sort of escape. And because of the rappel, it just denies any sort of burst from that Talia. And the collapse is easy, because the tower is still there.
Yeah, tower's still there. Beautiful barrels coming out there from 3Z. He's able to find multiple net members, and 3Z now gets himself, what, a double kill after this. You might have said, you know, plank.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, he's Plank now.
Bank
all right?
Plank.
He's got money in his pocket. He's looking happy. He's picked up the Sheen as well as the Ninja Tab. He's on his first back.
And the thing is, this is not how the game is supposed to go. You play this Renekton towards this 3Z Gangplank matchup for you to keep capitalizing on his weak early game, and you built this Talia and Pantheon as well for the dives, and it just backfires as they just dove too deep in the jungle.
Meanwhile, HKA, Hollow's going to go ahead and maybe try and start up the Cloud Drake for them. Get themselves a soul stacking right away. Rift Herald is available, so we'll see whether or not Resurgence wants to try and answer. They don't have a whole lot of vision, though, that this is happening. They do ping out that wing is now missing. So they probably realize, all right, Dragon's being taken. You already see maybe a on the way ping coming out from Epic that he wants to try and take the Rift Herald in response.
And yeah, usually we see that kind of exchange from the PCS. But I think it's a little bit too late. We'll see, though, as Hollow is making his way towards that part of the map.
Yeah.
Therefore, the trade will not happen.
So a little bit late to the party there is Epic, as that now possibly gives the opportunity here for Hong Kong Attitude to actually take both neutral objectives on the map with no response here from Resurgence. And it seems like the confidence kind of gets a little shattered here for Resurgence. They were able to get themselves an early kill, got themselves first blood. They went for a little bit of a dive, didn't end up going in their favor. And now you see them being a little bit hesitant trying to go for these plays elsewhere on the map. They're a bit late when it comes to trying to trade for objectives, and it's kind of falling back into a little bit of that playstyle. I want to see them break that here in this game, because it is literally do or die. You end up losing this one, your chances of making playoffs are very, very low.
Shinsekai going very, very low here.
There we go. That's going to be a cleanse immediately. Trying to take this fight, Shinsekai. That's a questionable one. Parlay able to get another one. Here comes the Pantheon ultimate, but it's way too late from Epic. Need to have that ultimate maybe 10 seconds earlier. Mexi's also going to come up here as they look for the lane swap at least.
Yeah, everybody's practically there from HKA already, so this could be a scary dive.
Shinsekai is able to actually escape. Not checked in that brush.
All right.
Either way, HKA are able to defend, and 3Z looking strong. Raven looking for the shove, not going to find it. Rift Herald was started, actually, by HKA. 3Z now pathing down. 4v4, you're going to now see Shinsekai rejoin in on the fight. He actually did use his teleport. Ward coverage all there as both teams have the 5v5 up in top lane. As HKA, they're going to rotate back to mid and try and get a push here.
Oh dear. Okay, so you're right about the confidence part. Shinsekai actually tried to trade with 3Z, almost died from the cannon barrage. But you can still see there's still a lot of respect coming from HKA there, spotting out most of Resurgence, hovering over that Rift Herald, decided not to take it instead. The thing is, for me, RSG, if you can almost beat HQ at the top of the charts right now, then perhaps HKA, who's at 9th place right now, could, yeah. I guess it's one of those things and where the plan that they've set up for this composition in general already didn't work out, because they were banking on Shinsekai getting that 2-0-0 rather than 3Z at the top side of the map.
Now Resurgence and Hong Kong Attitude, because it was such a delayed trade for even the Rift Herald that no one took it. Just go ahead and rotate their bot lane so they can try and contest that. Ocean Drake will be joining us in about 90 seconds or so. And it's kind of now just this waiting game where I have to ask, what team do you favor more when it comes to the late game? Well, it might be the team that's taking home kills as Eminem gets caught out. He doesn't have any mana left, and Mexi looking to finish him off. He will find it with the stacks popping right there on the Kaisa as he gets himself on the board. Meanwhile, in bot lane, you do see Resurgence trying to make something happen, but now Hollow wants to join in, and they're able to turn around the fight in top lane as it's going to be a shutdown over to 3Z, but it's 2 kills in the top lane over to HKA.
There we go, HKA being very aggressive at the top side of the map, and Shinsekai in the meantime will take this as a consolation prize and just get probably 2 short plates off, probably even 1 if he speeds up the process of that wave. Let's take a look at that again. Epic. Patience is a virtue, I suppose, with Raven, with the Weaver's Wall. This is what I actually expected at the early game when Cinder was still at bot side, but they'll take what they can, and that'll be a cleanup and a shutdown on towards Epic.
And it's good to see. I was hoping we'd start to see this combo come out now that both the mid lane and the jungle are past that level 6. Like you mentioned, I was also expecting that Syndra to maybe get dove a couple more times in lane. It just never happened. So RSG, they may be late, but they do finally go for some plays in their favor. Get some gold back onto their carries, which is a nice recovery after losing out a couple members. But Rift Herald, meanwhile, was taken here by the side of Hong Kong Attitude. Looks like they're just going to look to try and force this in as Shelly's going to be popped. That should be the mid lane tower, and first brick gold going in favor of Hong Kong Attitude.
There you go, first tower of the game. And I think the reason why we didn't really see the dive from Epic and Raven at the bottom side of the map is due to the fact that, you know, Mexi didn't really have priority at the time as well, and they were really wanting to get, knockup's not going to happen, they were really wanting to get Rift Herald. Even though 3Z would have gotten a 2-1-0, it could have been equalized if they got the Rift Herald and then used that at top side. But HKA's rotation, sending the bottom lane towards top, really denied any sort of that event for RSG.
RSG here will also look to try and now pick up their first dragon of the game. Shinsekai going really aggressive here onto Jimin. Already has that fork now completed. He can shred him apart, but meanwhile, Jimin, he's got a team with him as Raven a little bit too late to the party. Same with Epic as Jimin able to flash over the wall to safety.
Little bit off on the timing, but Shinsekai had a massive amount of damage. So the aggression was understandable. There wasn't just a lot of information to work with because of the vision. So if Holo wasn't there, he definitely could have eliminated Jimin.
There you go. Jimin, though, was able to survive as Shinsekai goes for the 1v1.
Yeah, everybody else from RSG were actually going already towards that area. So the burst was just too much on this Elise pick, and therefore just Shinsekai just exploded there. Still pretty strong, though, on this Renekton pick.
Strong does have his Bork now completed. Meanwhile, though, HKA, though, they're starting to get some of their first items online. GLP and the Trinity Force is completed. Also got your jungle item online here for Hollow. It's going to be Infernal Drake in about 4 minutes. So they might be looking to try and get their second items or get another component for the next fight. You're still waiting here for the stacking to be finished here on Mexi. Oblivion Orb also picked up for Raven, so he's going to get a little bit of extra penetration, but meanwhile, it's the second tower of the game taken by Hong Kong Attitude up in the top lane as Shinsekai is still trying to respond in bot.
Holo lurking around. RSG has to respond to the top side as it has been slowly being pushed by Jimin. Tons of vision, though. Tons of vision being established by HKA. They have to be careful. They cannot path inside that jungle if they want to go towards their inner tower.
A little bit of damage on the second tier tower. Doesn't get much else here, but still that does allow Hong Kong Attitude to get vision down toward the top side of the map.
Shinsekai.
Looking for, he's pushed pretty far forward. A lot of the pings, though. Resurgence do know where they are, because they have the control wards, at least on the bot side of the map. Top side is completely dark, but they have the vision to the bot lane to help protect the Renekton.
Shinsekai didn't port back. He cancelled his port. Is he hoping to get an assassination kill on 3Z? Just say it.
That might be the play. Again, 3Z does have the cleanse. We saw how much damage Shinsekai is able to do if he's able to get going. 3Z, though, looking for a little bit. Ends up putting the barrel. I think he thought he had another barrel.
Yeah.
It was on cooldown, I guess.
Yeah.
Those are the small mistakes that can, you know, maybe get you a little tilted. It does happen.
Shinsekai did a little dance before leaving the lane, but now he's back in the fountain.
All right, so Shinsekai doesn't doesn't have to worry about the, the silent killer barrels from 3Z that are hidden behind the brushes, it seems, as a small little misplay from 3Z. Maybe it was all intentional. Maybe it's all mind games.
Maybe it's all about that mind game. So, Shinsekai would be worried for the next one. 3Z is going to get this tower easily, as a lot of vision from RSG surrounding this river area, perhaps trying to set up a flank for Shinsekai, just in case that HKA decides to push a little bit forward with their lead.
No, we might joke a little. This is still a very serious match for Resurgence. I'm a little concerned that they've slowed down quite a bit. I wanted to see, more of these dives coming out onto, say, a Gangplank, a Syndra. They're both rather immobile. And the fact that they have not actually looked to pressure this with the Pantheon and the Talia, and the fact that now, with all this happening, Epic was only just turned, he only just turned level 10. Hollow had a 2-level lead on him for a decent portion of this. So he's starting to get a little bit out-farmed. He's not actually able to keep up in levels. He hasn't really been able to do much other than, the one gank up in top lane. You see at least Shinsekai is able to start winning this 1v1. But it's the lack of just consistent action coming out from Resurgence that's starting to cost them dearly.
I think it has something to do with number 1, lack of deep wards in the jungle. Number 2, the laning phase is over. Epic and Raven's dive is insanely strong when the laning phase was still... Oops.
Yeah, Shinsekai can go for this. Gets a decent amount of damage, but still not going to go for the dive underneath the tower. But guess what? We now have Infernal Drake. Is this where Resurgence try and make a play? Because during this entire time, they've been slowly leaking gold here and there because of the turrets. And that's a 2,500 gold lead. Teleport going to come out from both sides. Now a 4v5, 5v5 now in total. Shinsekai is going to join in. Resurgence now have inside track. A nice barrel combo comes out onto Delulu. That's going to force him to have to back off. Raven almost gets caught out. Meanwhile, though, Showstopper is there. And there it is. Jimnian ends up bringing back Epic into the middle of the fight. Raven's going to get knocked up. That's already one member down on the side of Resurgence. As meanwhile, Hong Kong Attitude were able to secure the dragon as well.
They'll be happy about that. Jimian did an amazing job just annoying the backline of RSG. Therefore, they had to concede the dragon, despite them the ones starting that. 3Z is going to stay here a little bit and show himself out. Meanwhile, Shinsekai didn't get the flank that he needed because HKA repositioned and wanted to collapse on him. Therefore, the usual scary Renekton at the 20-minute mark was not present at all.
So there you go. Another kill in favor of Hong Kong Attitude. A dragon goes their way as well. Both teleports used. It's just the one kill, though.
It is indeed the one kill. As RSG, the Lulu was quite far forward. Nicely done knockup, but that is the support. Jimian smashing down the pain, picking up Epic, moving towards Raven 2. There's just zero threats for HK's composition at the moment.
Resurgence, you do have more items starting to come through, though. You got the Morellos, the book that shall not be named for Raven. Got Rageblade, actually, here for Mexi. Opting to go more on the attack speed route instead of, the AP build we've been seeing from the Kaisa here and there after their 10.5 buffs. Same thing, though, on the side of Hong Kong Attitude. You're just going to start having a beefy set in the front line. Has that Sunfire, I believe, finished off with the Merc Treads to help with some of that CC.
This is... Okay, I thought there was going to be a fight.
I think they might go for Raven. If Raven pushes up. Oh, he went the wrong way. Raven, he's too far forward. There's no vision. Showstopper's going to bring him on back. Sure, you get yourself the shove, but it ain't enough. Jimnin's going to be able to pick up another kill. Raven gets caught out. It all comes down to a lack of vision from Resurgence. The map is completely bare when it comes to their wards. Only the lone ward in Baron.
It's going to be really tough because you know that you're never safe. You want to just keep farming. You just extended a little bit, wanted a path throughout the jungle, your own jungle at that. But it's just that, really. There's actually that. There's 0 reward coverage for RSG. Therefore, easy pickings. Now they're knocking on towards this tower.
Oh my, Mexi almost gets taken down there. Unleash Power and Wings Ultimate were also used. Raven just now respawning as the mid lane tower takes a decent chunk of damage. Meanwhile, top lane, though, second tier tower is gone. As the set was able to continue pushing through. And now it's back to this unfortunate scenario for Resurgence where I would have loved to see this Pantheon. I would have loved to see this Taliyah make action happen on the map. We saw it once. That was pretty much it. It's been very reactionary from them. And now it's in the situation where they don't really do much. They just kind of clear the waves.
It makes me wonder if it's due to the fact that they were brave at first because they got first blood. So this bolstered their confidence a little bit more to be extra proactive. Then it fails. So they revert back to the situation on where they lack that confidence again because of that just one instance in the jungle.
I guess you can tie it back to the confidence issues. That's a possibility here. But there has to be someone, the shot calling, I think, is the biggest thing here for Resurgence. I really would love to learn who's making the calls when it comes to the team's positioning, objective takes, what people should be doing on the map. Because it just looks like a solo queue game from the side of Resurgence. It looks like, oh, I'm going to go top lane. Or it looks like someone has muted the rest of the squad and is not paying attention to the comms. I don't know what it is with this team. There's signs of really good play in the early game in the last couple of matches. But it just falls apart into this state now.
That's the thing. Their strength is not exactly more of the solo laners. It's the point where they move as a unit, and it's beautiful to look at. We've seen that preview before when they went up against Liab, when they went up against HQ. Actually, there's the Shinsekai Raven duo, which we potentially could have seen when they were lurking around the enemy jungle of HKA. They just couldn't find a pick that they needed to, especially the waves are shoving a topside Jimian.
Jimian might be caught out here. Here we go. Pantheon Ultimate comes through. He's going to be stuck in the pit, though, with the set. The rest of Hong Kong Attitude, though, starting to rotate. And immediately, tools are used for the disengage, and Resurgence can't go for the play.
Meanwhile, I think Shinsekai is going to fall.
That's a quick bait coming out from 3Z. And I hate to say it, that control ward there doesn't give you enough time to notice that there's an Elise coming down.
Exactly. And because of that, more space for HKA to take that dragon for themselves. That's the third dragon. So pressure Pylon even more. Now you have to contest the next dragon. Meanwhile, this is Shinsekai trying to get that trade over, duel over to 3Z. Shinsekai so low. Actually, not even sure if Shinsekai or 3Z even needed holo at that time. But look at that damage coming from Shinsekai, so I suppose it was indeed needed. Scurvy in, heal back up. HK, they're you know, 3Z is his scaling is actually getting rapid here due to the early game kills.
Unfortunately, the scenario now becomes if Resurgence fall here, they're going to go 1-12, which means they have played 13 games of the 18. That means the best possible finish they could have is 6 wins. All it takes for a couple of the teams above them is one more game win. And they have still yet to play against Resurgence once again. That is the concerning part. Resurgence, they still have to play against Alpha. They still have to play against JT. They still have to play against Nova, as well as Talon. Those are all teams above them that need only 1 or 2 wins. Now here, you see Delulu, he's caught out. He's trying to get Vision down. He was hiding in a brush, but there's no reason for him to be there at this point in the game. And it's small calls like that that might be the nail in the coffin for Resurgence's hopes of making it to the playoffs.
This is looking really grim for Resurgence after that death. Again, as the game progresses, it's going to be long death timers. HKA, and meanwhile, Shinsekai pushing at the bottom side of the map. So at least they have some sort of exchange. Will there be a potential steal? That is the question. Epic has flash.
Oh, but unfortunately, that's going to be Mexi caught out toward the side. Into the haymaker. The Kaisa is gone. Shinsekai wants to jump into the back. He's stunned up. He's tossed around. He's turned into a purse. As that is now 3 members of Resurgence taken off the map.
That was brutal by HKA. They never saw Jimin coming from the side, and that was the perfect setup to finish off the rest of RSG. Epic still alive, Jalulu still alive, actually responding back after his death from earlier. And with that, Baron for HKA. This is definitely a more confident HKA, I suppose, comparison to before.
But look, no vision. Jimnian is able to walk and get Mexi point blank.
It is the typical set place of just running towards your team, the enemy team, just smashing your way through. And unfortunately, because of this Renekton pick being quite behind during the laning phase, it's not going to transition well towards team fights that you were expecting.
Like, it's starting to look like a funeral for Resurgence here. You now have other item spikes coming online. Rabadon's completed for the Syndra. You have Essence Reaver as well as the Sterix for this Gangplank, so it's even harder to actually try and burst him down anymore. You have this set that's just acting as a frontline monster. He'll soon have his Sterix as well, or even a Titanic if he decides to go for that route for some reason. At least for Resurgence, Mexi, he's got his fully stacked item finally. He's starting to get, you know, a couple more little bits of attack speed going into the Gnasher's Tooth. But at this point, Hong Kong Attitude could look to close out this game.
You're right, they could still be banking on Mexi here. You get that Black Shield in with a Killer Instinct.
Oh, they're going to jump on 3Z. Look at that. 4 members for a Gangplank. Meanwhile, Raven is caught out, and the top lane inhibitor tower is being taken. Resurgence find 1 win. The map, it's so, it gets censored on our end. We don't even get to see it. Jimnin at least going to try and turn that around, but oh my goodness! The haymaker into the showstopper from Epic. Shinsekai's taken down. That's it. Nail in the coffin. That's your game. And Resurgence, the uphill climb to playoffs just became monumental with their loss here to Hong Kong Attitude, who decimate them in a convincing fashion and take the game.
Deja vu here for Resurgence as Hong Kong Attitude takes this win once again.
Unfortunately there, Hong Kong Attitude, they get to keep up with J-Team. That's the big important part for them. But unfortunately for Resurgence, it is like I said, it's an uphill climb to playoffs. It just turned into Mount Everest.
It's going to be difficult because you have RSG being a little bit, I wouldn't say a little bit, they're quite inconsistent. We saw 2 games of them, 2 brilliant games from them. But it's like one of those questions, is it going to come back? It needs to come back.
You need a miracle. You need another season. That's the easiest way to put it at this point. Unfortunately for Resurgence, it just doesn't seem like this roster is capable at competing at this level at this point. And that is a very, I know it's a harsh statement to say, but it's a statement that has to be said. It's 1 in 12. Playoffs is pretty much out of the picture. Now you got to go ahead and look toward your summer split and hope for the best.
This was the really well done gank, I suppose, because of there's no vision there. So Jimian just practically walked and ran towards RSG. And basically it was a smash in time for this set right here. And there you go. I really like the composition of RSG with their draft, except the laning phase was just accelerated to the point that it didn't really have any effect anymore. So the picks that RSG made were past their prime. It was kind of the point of no return. You had to bank on Kais as well, but there's just so much burst coming from HKA. If you Killer Instinct in, you're probably just going to get taken out.
Now you see little blips like a heartbeat sensor down there for Resurgence at the start of the game. Unfortunately though, that it wasn't able to snowball in their favor. We wanted to see more from Epic. We wanted to see more action from Raven. at this point, they hoped for everything to go onto Shinsekai. But unfortunately, without the vision, he kept getting caught out. And whatever lead Resurgence had just dwindled away immediately.
Yeah, and I think the reason why, you know, I'm just so like hyped and at the same time, I feel for this team because you know they're really good. You know they're amazing. It's just that when it comes to these fights against, you know, these teams like HKA, they seem to fall after one mistake. I guess that would be...
it's a House of Cards situation.
It is. It is.
They need the perfect game plan. They need the perfect game, it seems to be, in their eyes in order for the composition to work. But then if one little thing comes crashing down, everything goes with it. MVP, though, is going to go on over to set for Jimyeon, able to find himself some beautiful flanks and help Hong Kong Attitude take home the victory today.
Exactly. Really nice sets coming from Jimyeon over here.
Setups?
Yeah, setups. That's what I wanted to say. Of coming from Jimyeon, it really disrupted the whole RSG squad, and I really like all of these confident plays from Jimyeon. I first saw it at the Silas. Actually, that's when the 1v2 happened. It was against RSG.
Yeah.
And now he's shining again against, you know, this particular matchup, and hoping to see more from this mid laner.
Yeah, so for Hong Kong Attitude, their climb into the playoffs is still very much alive. They have themselves, I believe it's 4 games remaining. They're able to take home at least, I think, 2 victories. They have a very solid shot of actually causing a lot of tiebreakers, and our mid-pack right now is starting to just get more and more condensed with teams. We have Talon that's come down. We still have Nova. We still have Alpha. The Dragons, they've been able to kind of, you know, squeak out now of that mid-set pack.
Machi now at second, so...
Machi at second.
What
There's
is
a
happening?
whole lot of action happening from a lot of these squads, which I don't think a lot of them were expected to perform as well as they have. I'm a bit disappointed, though, from Resurgence. Hopefully they can try and, you know, refocus, try and finish out spring the best they can. But we're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, though, it is going to be our matchup between Nova and Talon.